Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer for Kentucky Derby Prep Recap. In this segment, we're going to take a look back at the Shared Belief Stakes, the second race at Del Mar on August the 1st. Only a 4-horse field, but some really nice 3-year-olds. We break from the gate. Keep an eye on the number 5, Honor AP. He's going to get sandwiched a bit coming out of there, while the number 2, 1,000 Words from the Bob Baffert barn, had a clean getaway. And 1,000 Words, Mike, it's not exactly the strongest comeback since Lazarus, but it's a pretty good comeback for a horse that a lot of folks had written off in the spring.
Yeah, well, his prior, it's actually, I don't want to say his prior 2 races, but because his race most recently after last wasn't bad at all. But earlier this year, he looked like maybe he was heading the wrong way. He did bounce back in this race. He did have a very nice trip in this race. You saw him make that easy lead early. But after that, he runs pretty well, I think.
We saw Honor EP get pinched a little bit at the start, and now Mike Smith has advanced in the 4-path on the outside to get into position. He realizes it's a slow-paced race. He wants to be up close. In between horses is Cezanne, undefeated coming in, but really unchallenged. And Cezanne, I think, found this test a little too tough.
Yeah, he did. He was, sort of the first horse to make a move into the race. That kind of made Honor AP go as well. Cezanne's in contention down to deep stretch here. I don't think it's a terrible performance, Dan. He's so lightly raced. I don't want to be too hard on him. I was just, more interested in the race that Honor AP won, just because it was just, to me, it was sort of an uneven performance after getting bumped at the break. It looked like they were going to take him back. Then it looked like they were going to go. And then it looked like they were going to take him back again. And then it looked like they were going to go again. At the top of the stretch, it looked like he might finish last. But he races on right down to the end.
To his credit, right here, he's going to kick in again, and maybe he feels Kiss Today Goodbye, the long shot on the far outside. 1,000 Words wins it. Honor AP, the Santa Anita Derby winner, he loses at 1-5, but at least he was running on a little bit at the end. 1,000 Words, big 2-year-old for Baffert. There were high hopes coming into the season. His first few starts, not so great, but his last race at Los Alamitos, a solid enough performance, although no match for Travers-bound Uncle Chuck. And then this gate-to-wire victory. He had the best trip in the race, but he's coming into good form, and all of a sudden, the way this race came back, all 4 horses got fast figures. 1,000 Words got a 104. That's going to make him a strong Derby contender if he can repeat that number.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. And again, and you're right. It's not like the race came out of nowhere either. So listen, he's a talented horse. He ran a fast race here, even though it was only against 3 other horses where he had the best of it. He still took a pretty big step forward in here. To be honest with you, Dan, even though he beat a very heavy favorite in Honor AP, I'm sort of less worried about what Honor AP does next than I am about what 1,000 Words does next. I just don't really know what to do with 1,000 Words wherever he turns up in his next race.
Honor AP, I think for those that still believe, they're kind of pleased with this result as it pertains to the Kentucky Derby. It was a prep race. That's what these are for the Derby. Honor AP ran well enough that he retains his form going into Kentucky, and he should be sharp. He got another big figure, a triple-digit buyer, and I think he's going to be a better price now in the Derby off of this race.
Yeah, I suppose losses will do that, right? And you're right, too. I mean, I think it's fair to view it as a prep. It seems like no trainers use these races as preps anymore, but, maybe that's what Sheriff's was doing. It wasn't his best performance, but again, it was just sort of uneven. I don't know. I feel like this is still one of the better 3-year-olds out there. I'm not going to, hold this race against him too much.
I agree with you on that point 100%. Cezanne finished 4th. He was only beaten a length and change. Baffert says he's not on the Derby trail after this. He's a horse that if you give him some time, he might be okay at the end of this year and onward as a 4-year-old. Kiss Today Goodbye got 3rd in this race and got some points, but he is on the outside looking in as it pertains to gaining entrance into the Kentucky Derby. When you see a 4-horse field and they're separated by less than 2 lengths, does that bother you on dirt?
I mean, it's not, ideal, I guess, but the way the race was run, I don't see any, other outcome it could have really been. The pace wasn't that fast. Everybody just sort of tried to get into it at the same time. It wasn't, the strongest race in the world, in my opinion, even though it came back fast. But, there's good horses in here. And as you mentioned, even Cezanne, who's so lightly raced, they paid a ton of money for this horse. He has a nice pedigree. This horse is going to be okay down the line, I think.
1,000 Words, a son of Pioneer of the Nile, gets the victory in the Shared Belief. 104 buyer speed figure. Baffert's got another one heading into Kentucky.